Welcome to Live, Let, Thrive, a podcast about the Airbnb life, the share economy, and everything in between. Here are your hosts, Myka and Steve.
Hello, hello, hello.
And welcome back to another exciting episode.
Of Live,
Let
Thrive. What's up, Micah the man?
I'm chilling, Stevie Stacks. How you doing today?
Doing good. Bracing for the cold, icy weather coming our way in this Dallas Fort Worth area. And this is Live, Let, Thrive, your favorite short-term, mid-term, long-term PadSplit podcast in the world, coming at you from Arlington and Fort Worth, Texas.
Yes, sir. We got to get ready for Dallaska. They said Ted Cruz already booked his flight to Laguna Beach.
You know, it's official when Ted's going to the beach, man. That was funny. He threw his wife under the bus for that one too. I remember that. That was funny. No, that made it even worse. It was her idea. I didn't want to go. Yeah,
Oh
okay.
man, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't mad at him. Get out of here during February. Like once it get close to February in Dallas, get up out of here.
Man, see, that's when I look back and I'm like, I remember we had those homeschool aspirations, and so we can travel and all this stuff, and of course.
Yeah,
We're plugged into the matrix, so we can't just hop on a plane with the kids and go somewhere warm. We gotta stay,
yeah,
or to get that
for real.
truancy stuff going on.
I
Uh,
know, man. Sheesh.
so man, we're gonna have a good show today. We're gonna talk a lot of fun short-term stuff, midterm stuff,
Mhm.
pad split stuff. What you been up to, man?
Oh man, bro. So I actually needed you there. So I sent you the invite to come to my meetup that we had, me and Mahogany had
Oh, that's
over,
right.
what was it? Sunday, Monday on my MLK Day. And I needed you there because I wanted you to be on the panel to talk about PadSplit. Because like everybody was like, after I told everybody what it was, they were like, 6 people in my house? Hell, but I was like, I was trying to explain it to him, like, it seems like that. But yeah, me and Mahogany had our meetup, our first like public meetup for our podcast that we have, and I wanted you there as a panelist. Noble was there, Mike Brown was there,
Hmm.
a lot of good people there.
Where was it at?
In Pantego at the
Okay.
Javen venue. By the way, cool venue. If you ever want to like have a wedding, any type of get together, cool gathering, Super Bowl party, cool little get together spot. So we had it up there, and that's been it, man. That and then so,
So, real
focusing on
quick,
the
what's the
goals.
name of your podcast?
Oh,
The
it's called Entrepreneurriage.
Entrepreneurriage. Okay.
Yeah, the struggles of entrepreneurship and marriage and how you gel it all together. I think our slogan term is building wealth without losing the marriage.
Mm. Just
Yeah.
wrap it all up with duct tape and super glue. You'd be all right.
For real. That's basically how you figure it out. Man. But
That's
yeah,
cool, man.
but what have you been up to, man?
Oh man, lots of pad split adventures.
Oh, we gotta go into those. We gotta go into those because a lot of people were like, a lot of people were skeptical. Some people were like, hey, I'm interested in that. So yeah, we gotta go into the pad split adventures.
It's a learning curve, like I said. Will say one thing. Okay, so I got a little worried this week, right?
Oh.
Over at the my pad split over here in the mid cities. One, okay, you get an alert when someone's behind on rent, right? And once they get past that $300 behind mark, they either have to bring it back under 300 or they get 2 days to pay it off or they'll be kicked off the platform. So
Damn.
they, yeah, PadSplit will just
Damn.
terminate them. And, PadSplit will reach out to these, people and try to work something out. They're not like the bad guys, but if they just kind of like ignore them and don't do nothing, then all right, they're terminated. Now it's on us to get them out of our house.
Oh,
That's pretty
damn.
much it. So,
Okay.
so I had a pad person that just went to termination. Real cool dude. It's one of those like one of those dudes. You go to the house. He's like real friendly. Hey, what's up, bro? Yeah, let's go. He just like a social butterfly, right? Everybody,
Cool dude.
he had, huh?
Cool dude, but he ain't got the rent money. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he paid great for a few months until the other day, and but like yeah, he had like great reviews. Everybody loved him. He was one of those guys, just life of the party kind of guy. And I can't, of course, say his name, but anyways, I thought he was
Yeah.
cool. I thought he was a cool guy, and I was like, man, him, really, him? I wouldn't have suspected him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go talk to this guy. Well, I reached out text message first, right when it said he was terminated. I reached out text
Mhm.
message, and it bounced back. You know how when they bounce back, it says something like blocked or something like that. I was like,
Oh
oh, what's
man.
going on? I called, and they're not accepting calls at this time. But I was like, oh man, what's going
Oh wow.
on? Yeah. So I went over there, man. And I have been looking at the cameras and I hadn't like seen the dude a lot. I saw him like once in like the last 4 days on the camera. So I was like, is this guy even leaving the room? What's going on here, man? He don't have a vehicle. So anyways, which is normal in PadSplit. But anyways, I went over there the next day. I gave it a day. I sent a message through PadSplit. Hey man, it says you're terminated and you're supposed to move out today. So let me know when I can send my cleaners by, all that spiel. And of course, didn't respond. So I said, I'll give it a day. The next day I went over there. I was like, well, let me go talk to him, see what's going on. Or we have to do the eviction thing. We'll see. And so I went and that's a cool thing in Pat Split. You just walk straight in the house because
Yeah.
you get access to it all the time. All the common areas, I can go in and out as I please. Not that I abuse it, but I can do that.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'll give a heads up too if I need to. But anyways, so I walk straight in, go straight to his room. Boom, 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 boom. I hear him like shuffling around a little bit. It took him a few minutes to get to the door. And as he opens the door, hey bro, yeah, yeah, I just want to show you, man. I got my stuff packed and ready, and
Oh,
I'll be out this evening, man. And I was like, all right, man, everything cool? He's like, yeah, man, sorry, I just I didn't see the messages and this and that.
yeah.
I'll be out this evening. All right, man, I'll be back. All right, cool. And but I noticed when he opened the door, I was like, there was a smell in there. The only thing it wasn't that. It wasn't that. Although I've
Oh,
had smelled those smells before, and throughout the permeating from the walls a little bit. Not like they were, just like
yeah.
when someone walks in the house and it's still on. Kind
Oh
of
yeah,
that
yeah,
that
yeah.
that smell,
For sure. Okay.
And what I could equate this smell to is more like a Baduse smell. I always get Myka with those.
Oh man.
But there was no chick there, so that made it even stranger. Anyways.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all
Um,
youngsters look that up in the dictionary. That's an old movie from
you
back
ain't
in the
seen
day.
House Party, man. Oh, shout out to the legend Bernie Mac, man.
Oh
Oh
man,
man.
so, going way back. But anyways, so anyway, I didn't go in the room, but I just like smelled
Yeah.
like yeah, and like that. But um, so I went the next day. He actually did. He left that night. I went the
Yeah.
next day. And I went in that room and it's like, whoo, like that really pungent smell. I said the Buddhist, but I say go ahead like a strong BO, like a body odor smell, man. I was like,
Oh
God
man.
dang. Was this dude just lost his job and just sitting in his room and not going anywhere and just stinking the place up, man? And not
Might have fell in,
showering?
might have fell into a depression. Dang, bro.
To a
Straight
stank,
up.
yeah. And and so man, it was rough, dude. I mean, I cleaned with the products. I always keep cleaning products at the house, so the pad mates can
Mhm.
clean. So I swept, I cleaned. They had like a bed sheet on there. I don't know what happened to. I put, the mattress protectors on all the mattresses, of course, but it was
Oh,
gone. That's the second time I've turned a room over and the mattress protector's gone. I'm like, what the hell are they doing with these mattress protectors, man? It's a
hmm.
weird deal. But the mattress was fine.
Yeah.
And I just I cleaned it, did a quick cleaning. And I was like, I opened the window in the back, just let it air out, right? Man,
Yeah.
it was pungent. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna come back the following day. I was
Yeah.
still, my day job Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that was yesterday, Tuesday. And so I came back today. I was like, maybe it dissipated by then. He's been gone for a couple of days. I opened the door. Whew, hit me again, man. I was like, but I brought cleaning products, just in case that smell wasn't gone, that stank was
Oh
still
yeah.
there. And so I went and loaded up on the lavenders, the thing you open with the beads inside that's supposed to
Oh
absorb
yeah.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I got cleaning products and I noticed that what I noticed because I don't like I said, man, I got all these properties. I'm not able to go all the time, but
Mm-hmm.
in the kitchen, there's a trash can, of course, decent sized trash can, but with 6 people, that trash gets filled up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So what happens in Hearst, where Arlington, they give you two bins, right? They give you a bin for
Yep.
trash, they give you a bin for recycling. Forward, they don't get they. I mean, Hearst, they just put it on the curb.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Just put it on the curb, the bags on the curb, like that, right? So the animals can tear them
Mm.
up and all that. It's not very smart. But anyways,
Oh,
so the pad mates before trash day, they'll just pile the trash bags in the kitchen on the floor, man. So I
yeah.
got this big old rollaway bin so they can at least compile them there and then roll it out to the curb on trash
Okay.
day. So I got one of those. I got some more storage for them, these shelves. And then of course I cleaned the hell out of that room. I got that Lysol. That stuff kicks butt, man. The Lysol disinfectant.
Yeah.
Man, I coated that room with that shit. I used almost a whole
Man.
can of that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Windows open, fans going, and it smelled. When I left, it was smelling pretty okay. It was smelling pretty
Yeah.
okay. I didn't smell the Badusa smell anymore. Not very. And
I just,
so hopefully I left the window open a crack. I know it's not gonna get cold till tomorrow, but I'm gonna go over there and I'll close the window. But I left it open just a little crack, just so the room
Mhm.
can breathe, man.
Yeah.
And so and if that don't work, because it's like I said, it's smelling pretty good. I scrubbed it, I cleaned, I put a new mattress protector on there. If that don't work, I'm gonna bring my little ozone machine and just seal off that room and just hit that ozone machine.
Tell you if that don't work, Febreze like the bed, Febreze it, Febreze the bed, and it's gonna be a real strong smell what I'm gonna give you, man. But if you get them Febreze plugins and plug them in and just let them sit and close the door, it's gonna drown out the smell. They strong. It's gonna like a strong smell. Good. They so strong. Guests used to have to unplug them, but it'll get rid of it. Yeah, Febreze plugins, bro. They'll
Okay.
yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
pick some of those
bro.
up tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, just in case. Yeah, man, it'll get it out of there, bro. Yeah, that's man. I ain't think of it. Yeah, this is a journey, man. This PadSplit journey, just like our Airbnb journey we first got started. It's all types of learning lessons, bro.
I guess
Yeah,
when someone lives in that room, it can get pretty odorific quickly, you know what I'm saying? Whereas as a house, let's say someone's in your house squatting, it's more spread out. They can still stink up a
yeah,
house pretty good, but it's more spread out. Whereas
yeah.
if a person's whole life is in that one room and it's concentrated in there,
Oof,
it really gets
yeah.
in them walls, man.
Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, it's ways to get rid of it. Yeah, them Febreze. Definitely check out those Febreze fabric, the Febreze fabric spray, and then the Febreze plugins for sure.
Part of
Dang,
the
man.
journey. Part of the journey.
Part of the journey, bro. Part of the journey.
What
But
about
yeah,
you?
so we got the ice coming, man. So I've
Oh shit,
this
ice. Oh, you scared me, man.
you got your papers.
I got my papers. I'm good. They don't care, man. They rip you out of the house, throw you on the ground, then ask. And then ask later. Oh shit, my
Yeah.
bad.
So we got
And
the
Trump will
ice,
call. Deport him anyways. I don't care. Deport him. Send him to the Sudan. What
man.
the hell? I'm
He
from
don't
Mexico.
give a damn. Uh so ice is coming. So I've been this week, I've been so the last 2 weeks I've been interviewing property management companies for like long term. Because I was gonna manage my long terms myself, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna just let them do it. And then if any issues come up, have them talk to my VA. So, getting ready for this ice storm that's coming because it's not only hitting here, it's hitting Arkansas where my places are. Are you having like your PadSplit people? Do you send them messages like, hey, drip the faucets and all that?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I had my maintenance guy go out and hit up all the houses in the
Yep.
area that we're doing that we own, arbitrage, the pad splits, everything. Man, it's a lot of houses. I thought, holy shit. So luckily he was
Oh,
able to find some of those covers, right? Because
yeah.
they're like and they were I thought they weren't gouging us. It was about $3.90 for each one, you know. So I
Hmm.
spent $140 on those covers, but still, it's better than a broken pipe, right?
For real. You don't want that, man. Speaking of that, like because we were talking about PadSplit. So I do have a question for you because I know you're learning everything so you can outsource it, right? Have you figured out a way to like kind of automate those evictions or the eviction process?
Man, I was thinking of that strong with this last one. I was like, man, it didn't. To me, okay, it's like going through stages. My
Yeah.
first eviction, terrified. This is crazy. Blah blah blah. Second eviction, this sucks, but I kind of know what's going on. And then if this situation was gonna turn into that, I was gonna be. I didn't. I was like, if it happens, it happens. I just file and
Yeah.
get them out. It might take a little bit, but I got five other streams of income coming out of that house, so it didn't hit as hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's a house, you just got that one stream of income shut off, right? Until they're
Yeah.
gone, 2, 3,
Hmm.
4, 5, whatever, how many months you're making zero. But at
Yeah.
least I'm still making five incomes from that house, which is a good
Yeah.
thing. And I'll say this, well, we'll get back to the automation thing. I guess the only way I could see it being automated is if I like put like a de facto property manager in place.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, because I'm gonna have to be the one that signs the paperwork and that
Yeah.
goes to court if I have to go to court. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Unless unless it's a property manager or unless it's a lawyer, which that's gonna be costly to send a lawyer to go for you.
Yeah. I meant like how you had to go over there. Is there a way for you to remove yourself so they have somebody like you have somebody go knock for you, put the eviction sign up and all that?
Oh yeah, you can do that. You can have someone drop. You can have the
Okay.
like those private security guys go, whatever.
Okay. That's
Or
what I
I
was
could
wondering.
I could anybody. I could pay somebody to go. Not even it doesn't have to be those private security because those guys are gonna want a couple hundred to go out somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So I could probably pay someone 25, $50. Maybe my maintenance guy or whatever. Just have him film himself, either handing the paperwork to them
Yeah.
or putting it on their door or whatever. Yeah, that part you
Yeah.
can outsource. It's just the
Okay.
stuff that comes after that, since it's me renting to them, I have to go to do the whole court thing if they're gonna be like a court date and stuff. Unless I get a
Yeah.
lawyer, but the lawyers are expensive. It's just
That is.
it's one thing you maybe there is a way. I mean, I'm sure there's a way. But like let's say like people that have apartment complexes. The
Mhm.
property manager's running the apartment complex, so it's the property manager that's gonna go to the court date, right?
Yeah.
Is not, they're not renting
Oh.
directly from the owner.
Oh no no no! Hold on. Say it again.
So like apartment complex, they
Oh
have
yeah
the
yeah yeah yeah.
whole, yeah, property management is handling everything. And you're paying
Yeah.
them. You're still paying them, you know. And so yeah, I thought about that. Like going back to what I was saying. The one good thing, knock on wood, I'm gonna knock on wood, is that it
Knock with you.
seems yeah, it seems that it's been a lot easier to get the pad splitters out of the house
Yeah.
without evicting. It seems they're going without putting up a fight. And I equate this is kind of like their last straw. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them maybe have one eviction already or whatever. I
Yeah.
have a guy in there that has one. But he's a cool dude. I talked to him and he explained everything to me. And so they can't get an apartment. They can't get a house I mean, unless they, falsify some stuff on a mom and pop, they could probably do that. That happens all the time.
Yeah. For
But they
sure.
can't get an apartment. Even a ghetto apartment is not going to want someone with an eviction. So they're renting rooms. 'Cause that's pretty much the only thing they're left that they're able to do, you
Okay.
know? So if they burn that bridge, if they burn the pad split bridge, then they're really putting themselves in a tough spot. So if they get a notice to vacate from a pad split host, they they've been leaving, man.
So you ain't really got much to worry about. They ain't fighting nothing.
Not so far. I mean, I'm not saying it's never gonna happen, but so far it's been like, hey, you got to go, and then I give them a few days, and then they go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. That seems like it's working out for you. And then another question because I listened to the last podcast, your last solo ep. You said you're buying 10 houses this year.
Yes.
Woo! That's a good goal. You gotta go big, man. For real, gotta go big. One thing I was actually going to talk about goals because one thing I've noticed this year that I've done differently. I set a yearly goal, but this year what I'm doing is I'm breaking them down into like quarterly. So like, let's say I'm like this year I'm saying I want to buy one property. I'm like, okay, how do I set myself up quarterly to where I get to that goal? Because usually I just write down my yearly goals and then I check them off like, oh, I hit it, I didn't hit it. Now I'm trying to like closely track them. So like, how many properties are you trying to buy this quarter, or how are you tracking it? I'll say that because this is new for me.
That's a great question because yeah, I just that you know I made that lofty goal. I said this year I'm gonna buy 10 houses. Um, that's because like you they say you work backwards, right? You say, well, how do I get to 10?
Brandon Turner, work backwards.
I gotta make 100 phone calls a
Mm-hmm.
month or something like that, and that'll give me one house. And
Yep. Mm-hmm.
that's a good way to look at it because I need to do something like that. I've just been reaching out to owner finance all the owner finance houses that I can see. I'm
Okay.
not doing Fort Worth. There's a ton of Fort Worth, but I'm not doing Fort Worth because it's not very short-term rental friendly and it's not pad split friendly. So
Oh,
so that would mean it's not corporate friendly for me because if I can't do short-term rental, I'm not going to do corporate. I'm not just going to get
wait
a
a minute.
house 30 days plus, you know what I'm
Has,
saying?
has Fort Worth passed anything or?
So yeah, it's banned in residential areas and
Okay.
how pretty much houses. You can't do short-term rentals in houses in Fort Worth. A lot of people do, but if you get caught, you're screwed, right? Uh, that
Yeah, I, I feel you because so I met with a client that I'm managing for, and it's that same situation. Like she's been really slow because we have to put. She's in a HOA. She ain't supposed to short term rent it, but
mm,
we ended up taking it on. We've been managing it. I want to say close to about a year, and like the good mutts are good, but at the same time we have to put like 7 day minimums. We used to have like a 30 day minimum, but we went down to 7. But it's like I can't build up the reviews on it and stuff. And then we have certain limitations where we're not allowing pets. So it's like kind of
mm.
like it's like yeah, it's kind of a struggle. So yeah, I know what you mean. Like yeah, anybody listening, I sell them too, man. Kind of be careful going into like midterms and like you don't have a short term rental backup plan because that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah. You gotta. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
It's not worth it, man. And
yeah.
even I had the last client I took on. It was same situation. It was a big, beautiful pool house in Arlington, but you couldn't do short term. You could just
Yeah.
do third. I was like, they're hitting me up. Why don't we got a booking? I was like, well, you have to wait for a corporate booking. You can't just you
Mhm.
can't fill in the gaps at all. You're just stuck until you get a corporate booking. Hopefully, not that they're always coming.
Yeah.
And the problem, like with that house, because it was probably worth like five over 500,000. It's a big
Ooh.
house in Arlington with the pool, but insurance company ain't gonna put these people in regular cookie cutter 3.2s in a $500,000 house. It has to be similar to what their house is. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna put you in a a little
Yeah.
3.2 1,500 square foot, put you in a mansion. That's not gonna happen. It's gotta
Yeah.
be similar to the size and the area and stuff like that to your house. So it just wasn't getting the hits.
Yeah. It happens, bro. Oh, you know what? Before I'm gonna touch on the gold thing, and then I'm gonna actually go back to PadSplit. I had a question about that. So like you said, you haven't found out how to track it yet, and your quarterly goals is one thing I'm working on too. So I'm just like writing down what I want to do this quarter, and then write down what I'd want to do next quarter that's gonna lead up to it. But yeah, I still haven't done that tracker thing. Like, okay, how many like okay, I need to finish my taxes, I need to have this done by this date. So I'm learning all that stuff too, man, because it's but like writing it down and having it in front of me, because I have it right in front of me on my whiteboard, it does help. Like it makes you like, okay, I need to do this week. So I'm trying to like really hone in on my goals.
A funny thing about Brandon Turner, you listen to his podcast lately?
Oh yeah, I listened to it today. Yeah,
He moved to Texas.
he moved to Austin. Yep.
Yeah, so you heard the story about that?
Yeah. Austin real estate sucks right now, basically. um like they're losing values, like I don't quite understand why. Maybe you can go into
Well, they
that, but
built
like,
he claims they built too fast, too much too fast.
okay,
And then the demand dropped. So these beautiful brand new apartment complexes that were built up that were there, getting 2,000 a month for these one bedrooms. Now they're getting like 1,000 a month. I mean, it just like plummeted what they could ask for these things because they built too
damn,
many.
bro. Yeah, and they
And
built. Yeah. I mean, it
When good
happens.
times are good, that's when people are getting loans. That's when people are building. And then it just, the music stops.
Yeah. You know what? And then the rest of the world, there's a housing shortage, so there's a whole bunch of demand. Austin sound like you got a bunch of supply below demand. I guess if you had a good job, it'd be a great time to move there and rent. It sounds like because they said rents are plummeting, values are plummeting. I I wonder why they built like that. Like, what was their? Did y'all have an influx of people that was gonna move there? And Austin, it ain't that big. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't big to a point you're like, oh man, a lot of people move. Well, if a lot of people move there anyway, it's just gonna be overcrowded. People gonna start moving out to Pflugerville and Round Rock. But dang, I didn't know that. I knew he had moved down there. I had listened to his podcast because I remember he went like on like a 6-8 week stretch of no podcast. And I was wondering what the hell, and then he said it. I was like, oh shit.
Imagine that though, because he runs these big funds, right?
Yeah.
These investor funds. And so they've been getting hammered. So why he chose to Austin, he has, multifamily in Austin, but he also has multifamily in Houston and Dallas.
Mhm.
I don't know about San Antonio, but he kind of like chose Austin to be his home base so he
Mhm.
can go. He said he don't know how his presence is gonna help, but he's gonna just go be there with
Yeah.
and see what's going on at these places and try to help any way he can. And that's cool of him. He could say, hey,
Yeah.
investing's risk. Sorry, we lost money. You're out of luck.
Yeah.
But no, he's like he's owning it. He moved from beautiful paradise Maui, came down
Yeah.
here to Austin,
Yeah,
and to try to
I
handle
like
it.
him for that. I like him for that. That just shows he's a stand up dude. You know, you got to do what you got to do. You know, and then that goes because I was at the investor meetup. My boy Justin, shout out to Justin. He was talking about that. Like he was talking about using OPM, and I was like, I haven't got into that, and I was like, I don't think I will. Like right now in my investing journey, I'll probably get into it at a later time. But like right now, I do single family, small multifamily, and I was like, I'm just not to the point where I use OPM, and I might one day, but right now probably not. But I'm like, it's a risk, but if you know your numbers, or you end up in a situation like Brandon, but Brandon has experience. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, what makes me think of like, before all this happened, and he would talk about on the show how he never raised money before, but he talked to a guy who helped him mentor. Oh, I do it, blah blah blah, and he's like just make these goals and how much you're gonna raise, and he ended up raising hundreds of millions or whatever. He raised a ton of money,
Yeah.
right? He had to
Sure.
start his whole first fund filled up. He had to start a new fund, and he
Mhm.
just made millions and millions of dollars he's raising. But what happens when I mean it's just human nature, right? When you're walking around with a fat wallet, you're not gonna be counting all the dollars you're spending. You're gonna just go be buying whatever you want. Oh, that's a good price for a Rolex. I guess I'm gonna buy that. But
Yeah.
but when it's your money and you're the one trying to do this, you're gonna be counting every dollar because this is your money going in 100% into this project. You're not gonna be
Straight up.
try to overspend for something, right?
Straight
But
up.
when you got a buttload of other people's money and they're all wanting to invest in something, and you see something, you're like, the numbers don't quite work, but let's do it. Let's just get something. So you're
Yeah.
not as responsible with other people's money than your own.
Fact. That's a fact. That is a fact. Because if you have an unlimited, not an unlimited supply, but a huge supply of it, you might get careless at times. It happens.
Yeah.
Straight up. But yeah, it was interesting seeing that he moved down there though, and like seeing what the real estate market. I'm probably gonna go to Austin in a few weeks, just because me and Mahogany usually go down there. I ain't been in a while, but yeah, it's definitely some different stuff going on down there.
Yeah, let's go kick it with Brandon Turner.
Hopefully, I want my goal is to meet him this year at Limitless. If it's gonna be in Dallas, I'm gonna try to meet him.
Is he gonna
I've read
be in Dallas?
if Limitless is at Dallas this
Okay.
year, it's supposed to be. I think they're moving it to Arizona, but if they do have it in Dallas, I'm definitely gonna do it. Oh, this is what I did have a question for you about on PadSplit. So I know you have you successfully got somebody from Furnished Finder to book your PadSplit?
Yeah, a couple times. Yeah.
Okay, so this is my question about that guest that's on Furnished Finder. Because I know your typical PadSplit guy, usually not high income, usually lower income, like you said, may have an eviction. Have you noticed that same trend from someone who's coming from Furnished Finder and then going to PadSplit?
That that they're low income?
Not like low income or may have an eviction.
No,
Like,
no, 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 no. Most people that come from the first Finder, I mean,
Yeah,
I've checked their credits before. They have better credit than me, man. I mean, a lot of
I
them
figured.
just young professionals in medical field making a lot of money, and they only got one expense is their car, maybe a student loan. But they've been like that's why I was kind of worried the first time I
That's
got one at my past split in Arlington. I was like, this is it's not like the demographic that I have in there
yes.
now. But he was a wonderful guest. He just worked, did his thing, he was doing the medical field, so he's working a lot and he just had a place to sleep. And they liked him, everybody was cool with him, and he even left a bunch of like, extra groceries and stuff that he had when he left, because he's only doing a 3 month stretch.
Okay.
And now there's another one that's staying at the Hearst PadSplit, and he came from I don't he's not medical. I forgot what his job is, but he's still there. He's gonna be there for a long time, I guess. He's been there for months, right? He doesn't
Hmm.
have one of those 3 month travel nurse gigs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's in there for the long run, I guess. But he's a cool guy. He's all right.
Yeah.
He's,
No,
he-
yeah, because I was wondering like how have they meshed with the other pad splitters? There ain't been no issues
yeah.
because it's a different demographic. You know what I'm saying? You
It
have
is.
like the traveling professional demographic to like you know buddy who may smoke a little weed and ain't got his rent money. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. It's been all right so far, man.
Okay.
From what
Okay.
I've seen, and I go to my past splits and I hardly ever see anybody hanging
Yeah.
out in the common areas. Hardly ever, man. I might see someone when they just go out of the room to use the bathroom and
Yeah.
just, oh, hey, what's up, dude? That's it. But most people just hang out in their rooms or they're just working all the
Okay.
time.
Okay. Okay. I was wondering because that's what I was wondering because like that's one thing I was telling the crowd. I'm like, it is like I said because I said my partner Steve, he always talks about it. You got to get the right mesh of people because you may get a Karen, you may get somebody who's just disruptive, So and it's luckily you've only had to deal with it twice out of all the guests, so that's a pretty good, that's a pretty good
Yeah,
sign.
I've kicked out two, and then this last one, it was just like they got terminated due to non-payment. So,
Yeah. Okay.
but
So
their rooms, yeah,
they pay their rent through PadSplit, right?
yeah, everything's through PadSplit. So
Okay.
starts sending me alert when they get behind, and
Um.
the PadSplit will say, "Well, you don't have to do anything. We're handling it, blah blah blah." But if they don't pay it in this 2 days, then we have to terminate them.
No, no, no. It's another question about Brandon Turner's episode, though. Did you listen to his last one
Yeah, I
when he
did.
was
Yeah.
okay? When they were see, have you noticed there are people who trying to do pad split without pad split?
I follow a guy. I follow a guy that does that.
He does.
Yeah, I'll pull up the podcast here in a second. But he just does it purely 100% on his own. Well, he built out his own company. He's like a miniature PadSplit, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So he brings in investors he sets them up with their own
Oh, okay.
co-living house. Of course, he calls it co-living. He don't call it PadSplit.
Hmm.
Um, but he makes all the same contracts that PadSplit kind of makes, where the people in the house are part of a LLC and all that stuff. He does everything like PadSplit does, but he keeps more of the money because he's doing it himself.
That's what I was wondering. Um, pad split ain't hitting you over the head for fees, right?
They take a chunk, man. They take a chunk. What is it? I think they take. It's like kind of like Airbnb. They take some from them and take some from us. So
Man.
it's a little bit of a hit. But
Okay.
what's cool about it whenever you're setting your prices, let's say you're setting your price to 175 a week, right?
Mhm.
It'll say PadSplit's gonna charge them 185. When you drop it down to 170, it says PadSplit will charge them 170. It kind of shows you, what I'm
Mhm.
saying, what the
Sliding
price is gonna
scale.
be. Yeah, what you're gonna get from it and what they're gonna get from it. You know what I'm saying? So PadSplit will keep the difference. So I say that, I mean, you can make as much as you can just raise it higher if you want, but then you're going to be pushing people out if you raise it too high. It pays out good. It
Yeah.
pays out good, and I don't got to build out the pass split myself and do all that stuff myself. So I
And that's
like
what I
it.
told people. That's what I told people too. I'm like, you have to kind of look at it like this. You can build it out yourself, or you can let PadSplit kind of handle everything. They just send you a message, hey, this guy got to go. Or you can handle that, or hire a VA to handle it, whatever. But yeah, you still got to build it out, even if you get a VA. So
Hmm.
I was wondering that too, because I noticed a lot of people are doing it.
And they're improving, man, because like it reminds me kind of like the early days of Airbnb
Hmm.
when Airbnb was doing a bunch of stuff you thought was crazy and or
Yeah.
always siding with the guest or blah, whatever it was. Um, and so it's kind of like in that stage. They're growing really fast, but they're getting their legs under them.
Yeah. And we'll see what that brings. You know what I mean? Things are going to change, because I think with PadSplit, I think PadSplit's going to grow into a market where there are just more traveling professionals on there, just with how the housing market is right now. You're going to get a lot of young traveling professionals on it, in my opinion.
And you brought up Brandon Turner's pad split. He said in Florida, the city's fighting him. He said that in the last
Ooh.
episode because they're saying you can't five or more unrelated people can't live under the same roof or something like that, right? But he's saying no, they're not individuals. They're part of a LLC. It's one group that we're renting. The same concept that PadSplit throws out. I guess he's using PadSplit, but I don't know. But he's fighting the city right now to be able to keep doing PadSplit.
See, and that goes right back into what you just said. The early days of Airbnb, city got to figure it out. Are we
Hmm.
going to allow this? But most of these cities, if they want to stop pad splits, they're just gonna have to allow ADUs, bro. Like, end of the day, you need more housing. They're gonna have to have ADUs. I mean, Arkansas passed ADUs, which I was shocked by. I'm like, y'all ain't even got a growing population, but well, Northwest Arkansas does, but Central Arkansas don't. But that's just what it's gonna come down to. Or else, I mean, pad split just seems to make more sense right now.
Did you know that the toothbrush was invented in Arkansas?
No, I did not.
Yeah, because if it was invented anywhere else in the country, they would have called it a teeth brush.
That's Alabama.
I just heard that one today. You just made me think of that one today.
Charles Barkley. He said, "Yeah, yeah, that's where they invented the teeth brush, the toothbrush, because everybody got one tooth." That's why they don't call it the teeth brush. Oh man, yeah, that was Charles Barkley.
Man.
But yeah, man, that's why I'm like wondering, like, okay, other people are doing it, but I think PadSplit's just, and it's gonna be interesting to watch PadSplit go through that fight because they're gonna have to go through that fight just like Airbnb did.
I wish you would start one, man. I really do. Just because
I
like
st-
it'll go full circle from when you got me on this show.
yeah,
Got me to get air when we started the show. I didn't have one. You did, and you convinced me to just turn my second house into Airbnb. And I went ahead and okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We talk about it on the show. I'm gonna do it. So it'd be cool if you ended up getting one, and then we something to
it,
talk
it
about on
would
the show.
it would have to be here. If I get something here, if I pick up something here, I definitely try it out. Because I said I wouldn't do it where I'm at, but I would definitely do it in Texas, like DFW, all day. Like I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was to like really, really do one, because I think what you could do, if you went north, I think you could get a different clientele. Like if you got a house like up in Allen, Plano, Frisco, where it's extremely expensive, but you have the whole tech industry up there, that'd be a hit. Because
Stay away from the HOA.
yeah, yeah, don't do it in the HOA. But if you do it where these tech companies are,
Adjacent to
yeah,
those cities. Yeah.
yeah. No, I would do it in those cities.
Okay.
Because that's where those people are coming into and live. Like, just don't, what I'm saying? Not everywhere got an HOA up there, but like if you could find like a nice little 3-2 and then you turn it into like a 6-2, I mean, I would check parking because, you might get some more complaining neighbors up there, a little bit more complaining. But yeah, bro, I would check it out up there too because I think you're going to get more of a professional crowd and they might be willing to pay $900 a room. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because I noticed that's what Brandon said when he targets it. He's looking at like, okay, if the rent for a one bedroom, one bath, 1,800, people will pay 800, $1,000 a month and I ain't got to pay utilities. That's a win-win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I was looking
No,
at
it
that.
makes sense all around. It's just getting the cities on board.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, I will say this: my Arlington pad split. It my that house is the best looking house on the block right?
Mm-hmm.
I keep it nice. I keep the yard perfect and the bushes perfect, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean everything. It just looks like a really nice house. Now, if you're and that's what I heard on these shows. If you're gonna do this, don't run like a trap house looking house, right? Don't
Yeah.
don't run the ugliest house and just be a slumlord, because then you're gonna draw attention. Now, if you're the nicest house on the block and everything's smooth and you got decent parking for them, then you're not drawing attention. You're not getting complaints.
You know what else bring me kind of like in that like not getting complaints? I was thinking too though, this is the flip side of like your guests that are higher paying, higher credit scores, do they have cars?
On PadSplit,
Well,
you
the
said,
ones from Furnished Finder to PadSplit.
okay, the Furnished Finder to PadSplit. Um, you know, I have two examples, just only two
Okay.
examples.
Yeah.
So the one is the older dude that lives, the one here in Hearst, and he has a car and he has a good job. He had great credit.
Yeah.
Um, older white dude, and the other one was like a young man. I don't know what he was, but he was young minority guy, and he had like one of those travel nurse gigs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't believe he had a car. I think he
That makes
just,
sense.
but he's just like, he's just traveling town to town and he Ubers and all that stuff.
Yeah.
This young generation, man, they're all about Uber and Lyft, man. So, so
I,
yeah, I think yeah, it's just two examples, so I can't really say, and he
okay.
had good credit and all the credentials and stuff.
I
But
was wondering because if you start getting like better tenants who have cars, maybe that's kind of why you flying under the radar. You don't have a bunch of cars out there because maybe that's what flags it. And I think that's probably in Florida. He probably getting a different clientele
mhm.
because I think this clientele work. Like I would say, feed the clientele that works. Like if you finding out, hey, they ain't got cars but they paying, I'd stick to it. But I was wondering. Go ahead.
Here's what I think. With if we keep it real on the show, Brandon Turner's talking about, being in nicer neighborhoods, right?
Yeah.
Who lives in nicer neighborhoods,
More
and
complainers.
what kind of people rent from PadSplits.
Yeah.
So,
Demographics.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They're gonna call the cops and they see some brothers out there smoking a
Or
black and mild, and
yeah.
they're not gonna
They're gonna
like
yeah.
that.
They ain't gonna like it. You're right. That's exactly what's gonna happen. I mean, and even at that, like, I think if you keep a like, even if you do have, well, yeah, yeah, because if you start having people outside, that does, people start peeking through them blinds, boy. That's when,
And
yeah,
maybe
because
they can't call the cops just because someone's out there having a smoke, but they can. Who's staying at that and investigate? And you can
get
go to the
on.
internet and find out real quickly. Oh, that's a PadSplit. That's a
Oh,
code. That's not allowed in the city. Let's call the blah 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 blah. That's
yeah,
just there you go.
they gonna get on that next door app, boy. What's going on at 1604? Yeah, you like, here it goes. For real.
Who
So it's
puts
like,
rims on a car like that?
yeah, but that's the thing I was saying. If these people ain't got cars, I think it would drive less attention because I think that's where the attention comes. Like if you see four cars in the driveway, you're like, what's going on over there? And then like maybe one parking on the street, maybe you can like people like, okay, what's going on at this house? But I think you flying low key. That's how I would probably keep it too.
And
Like
that's
even
that one guy I was telling you with the podcast. Speaking of cars,
Mhm.
that's one of his things. He's like one of his students. His students say, "Oh, I think I found a good place for a pass, but this and that." And he's like showing. He's all right. Send me the address, and they're looking at the Google Maps and all that stuff. He's like, "Okay, this neighborhood, it's a little bit higher end. There's nobody parking in the street at all. You know what I'm saying?" And he goes, he just goes and does the little walking man, checking out the neighborhood. He goes, "There's no
Yeah.
street parking. The yards are immaculate. Man, this ain't gonna be a good one for you, bro." And he goes,
Mhm.
he showed him a different one. He's like, look at these. There's work trucks in the front, in
Yeah.
front of these houses. These work trucks in front of the houses. There's a lot of people parking in the street already. He goes, this is where you're looking. This is gonna be a good pass split area.
So PadSplit, you targeting B minus C plus.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Working
Yeah.
class neighborhoods where they're not gonna call the cops.
Yeah. 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 I think we'll see how it is because I think PadSplit will get big. It ain't hit that. I don't know if it'll hit Airbnb, but I think it's going to get big enough to where, city council might get a hold of it. It's just like when we first started Airbnb, it was in its infancy. infancy. Like we were probably one of the only few podcasts on it, and then you top that off with cities didn't know how to regulate it. So yeah, we'll see. I think it's a good model, especially here in the DFW for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean, your argument is in high populated areas, it's going to be a hit.
yeah.
But
I
that's
mean,
why you say Arkansas wouldn't be a good spot. You
yeah.
don't think? Not unless.
DFW. Yeah, too many people moving here, man. Like it ain't nobody moving there. Here, like unless you do it in Northwest Arkansas, it would work. I think there people are moving to. Here, like people are moving here as well. I think it will work here perfectly. But like Central Arkansas is a no go. Now I don't even think you would. Now I ain't gonna lie. You could probably charge 500 per room and be making some significant cash flow down there. Because if you had a 6-bedroom, 500, your mortgage is probably on one of my 3%, on one of my like 3% interest rate houses, mortgage is probably like 900. So if you had a 6-bedroom, yeah, you'd make a good killing doing it. But, and plus I don't even, you know what? I'll tell you what, I'm going to start monitoring Furnished Finder for Arkansas and see how many hits we're getting. Matter of fact, I'm going to put that on my to-do list. Like if I'll monitor it and then I'll start considering it.
Now, I did. The same dude. Like I said, he does it his own way. He don't do the PadSplit, but he does it his own way, co-living. He mentioned like when there is a new town, like one of his students brings up this, how about this town? How about this town? And there's
Uh-huh.
not a lot of information on it. They do like a trial run and see how many they start advertising rooms to
Yeah.
rent and seeing how many hits they get. You know what I'm saying? To see if there is a need for it.
Okay. See, and that's why I was asking about because
I
I'm
guess
not there.
you would make a how would you do that? Make like Facebook Marketplace ads about rooms to rent and stuff like or Zillow rooms to I don't know. You could do it a
I
certain
would
way, right?
I would do it like on Airbnb and Furnish Finder.
But you have to have an actual house to do it. I don't know how they're
Yeah,
doing
but
it without a house yet. You know
man,
what
I'm
I'm
gonna be real. You could have Chat GPT stage something real quick.
saying? See, there you
Give
go.
them some photos and have them stage it. And then after you stage it, just post it and be like, hey, just post it and just see what kind of hits you get. Turn off instant book and just see what kind of hits you get. I'm 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 gonna check Furnish Finder room rentals in Central Arkansas tomorrow, and just kind of see. Okay, I think because we're getting hits right now, but they don't want the full house, so it might have a market, but I just don't know. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna look into it, and I'll let you know. That might be my saving grace instead of going long term. But the thing is, I need to know how I'm gonna evict if anything goes wrong down there. Who do I have to go over? Yeah, I guess I could send my team over there. They just put something on the door, take a picture, and we evict them. Now, this is another thing though. If you start evicting people per room, won't that draw attention to it?
I don't see how if it's going on inside the house. It's not really.
No, no, no. But if you're evicting somebody, that's got to go down to the courts, right?
Mhm.
Won't that kind of like flag, like, I guess,
Yeah, I used to worry about that crap with Airbnb, but it seems like it's the city's so disconnected. Like
okay.
you call a cop out to an Airbnb in Dallas, even though you're not supposed to be doing Airbnb in Dallas or whatever. They don't start asking, "Where's your permit?" They just, "What's the problem?" This and that. Oh, sorry, we can't help you. It's a civil matter.
No, no, no. I meant like, so if you go through the eviction process, you have eviction filings downtown, right? So there's like all that stuff's tracked. Meaning, if they start seeing like an influx of let's
Of
say,
PadSplit evictions.
yeah, like let's say 1300 Main Street then done 3 evictions in the last 6 months. What the hell's going on at 1300 Main Street? See what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
That's what I was wondering. So like if you like luckily it seems like PadSplit's handling it before it gets there. And like you said, this may be their last resort. So you ain't necessarily gotta go through downtown to evict them. But I wonder like if somebody is like going through or like somebody who's doing it on their own and not using PadSplit, what if they gotta evict? So that's what I was wondering. Cause that stuff's kept like how you get X amount of
Now,
evictions.
now if these PadSplit, you know, people, PadSplit squatters, whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
if they're anything like regular people that are taking advantage of landlords, if they're anything like that, then they probably ain't even gonna show up to court. I'm just saying. But if
But it's still filed downtown though.
you still file it, but if they don't show up, the judge just reads off the thing. Okay, they're not here. Boom. We rule in favor of the defendant or the landlord, whatever the hell. So
Correct.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I mean,
Yeah.
they get like 100 cases a day. They're not gonna remember. Oh, wait a minute, I remember that house. It might not even be the same judge. You know what I'm saying? I don't see.
I mean, but that's how Airbnb got its information downtown. They just start collecting data. Not eviction data, but just data in general. I was just wondering
Yeah.
but it seems like PadSplit, you're not even having to do that. But like them people who doing that shit on their own.
Now I will say this. Regular eviction, you put all this shit out in the front yard, right? Whenever you evict
Yeah.
somebody and they don't, whatever, they have to leave, and then it just sits out there for weeks, and then the city says, "Hey, you got to do something with this, bro." So whereas you evict a pass splitter, you put his duffel bag out front. It doesn't draw as much attention in the neighborhood.
City of if you have one in Arlington, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Arlington just come picks it up.
No, I had to over there. They do.
Oh, for real?
They
Yeah,
picked
down
up
here.
everything. They picked up everything.
Yeah, South Side. But
Okay.
I will say this though. I live in Arlington, but I'm in Mansfield School District. So I don't know if that makes a difference. It's still Arlington. Like this dude over here, he just got evicted. And I was like, damn, that's a bunch of shit outside. But I'll be real though. The city came and got the leftovers. It was a whole bunch of scavengers.
It got picked up.
It was a bunch of scavengers, but the city came and got the left because I just put a couch. We had an old couch in our garage and we moved out so we can continue having our gym. I put it out there. It was gone the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything you put outside over here, this shit's gone. Like, yeah, somebody picked it off, and then I'll see the city come with the truck, load it up, and get it out of here. But yeah, I don't know. Yours is in North Arlington, right?
Like Central.
Yeah. Between 20 and 30.
Yeah, because I did the eviction that one
different.
time. It's the stuff stayed out there, and then I don't know if I got a warning from the city, but I mean I paid my lawn guys to haul the rest of it away because it was just sitting out there for too long, man. And so yeah, I don't. Maybe it was just a small pile or whatever was left over. Yeah, maybe, but there was a lot of crap out there. But it got picked over a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
our trash guy. Yeah, our trash guy. He usually they come and grab that stuff real quick.
Huh.
Yeah, I was just wondering about the eviction thing. Like, I was like, how do we keep this like out of the city's hands? But because when I was doing my little meetup this weekend, that's the first time I kept saying like. I was like, the benefit of PadSplit is, they can handle some stuff for you. They can't evict for you, but they can put the pressure on for you. You know what I mean? They can, hey, here's the pressure, and then the landlord comes behind it. So that's
they help a little bit. They help a little bit.
Yeah, because I would seem like it would be more beneficial to use them because it's like you ain't got to handle certain things, but if you're handling that stuff on your own, that paperwork can get messy. You having to go do the whole eviction thing, put the letter on there, go to the judge. You be like, oh hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fun. I mean, but like I said, by this point, when this happened this week with that guy, I was a lot less scared. I was like, things happen. Let's see how it plays out. I'll go talk to him, see what's going on, and if you could tell when you talk to somebody if they're gonna be bullshitting you or not. But no, he had his stuff packed. I'll be out tonight, man. I'll be out tonight. So,
yeah, B- C+ seem like that's the play for PadSplit then.
That's a sweet spot.
Yeah, that's a sweet spot then.
Stay away from the A.
Yeah. I wouldn't even. I'll be honest though. Honestly, if you look at like Airbnb overall and why it got all the regulations, because people's doing it in A-class neighborhoods. They're the ones who are drawing the attention. You're going to these A-class neighborhoods and getting all these people riled up you got people start coming in. I mean, it's the same thing. That's just exactly what happened.
Yeah, we went
So
to the city hall meetings, remember?
yeah, for
We're
real.
like bringing all these people from all different nationalities. And it's like,
Oh
what
yeah.
the
And where
hell?
were they at? They were up there in far ass North Arlington, where you know what's up there. Like, bro, come on now.
If the ex-mayor lives there, don't do Airbnb there, man.
Exactly, bro. Like, come on. Like, it was plainly obviously, but I think plainly obvious. But you know what though? Airbnb. Remember when people were making money on Airbnb, they were targeting that. People making on PadSplit, they ain't targeting that. So that's the best part about it.
That's the difference, yeah.
Yeah, it's a difference in like the mentality. They were like, "Oh, go up here. You can put this many heads in beds, and they making all this money." Pass was like, "We're gonna avoid that. Come to the middle, the middle area. And we'll go there." Yeah, I think that's the play.
Yeah, you didn't want to put Airbnbs in the hood.
Yeah, yeah. You still
In the
don't
beginning,
really.
it was okay, but then it
Yeah,
got a little,
yeah,
people started getting more picky.
yeah. I think more people got on the platform,
Yeah.
and then like Airbnb when it first started, it was for like, well, we got some older people, but it was a lot of like younger people moving, and then it just kind of blew up, and now you got like mom and pops in there, so it's just like, yeah, you got to be careful. Yeah,
How do you use a smart lock again?
yeah. Once you start getting them, and then they're like, they don't like the neighborhood, and I'm like, oh man. So Airbnb went through its changes for sure,
So
for sure.
so one cool thing that happened is I got my wife her first Airbnb
Okay,
out of an apartment complex where I have a couple of them at. And she's super excited about it, man. That's cool. It takes me back to when I was, excited about doing it. I think it's cool, and so we had our, the people that do our photography for us. They shout out to Allie. Her and her mom created this one, right? Well, mostly her mom, and then she brought them in to help her, and they love doing it. And I'll tell you, because they do amazing photography, if you need photography. And they even got a drone to do drone photos and all. They got the whole spiel, right? They do
yeah,
twilight photos, all this stuff, depends on what you want. But they had refreshed a property of a friend of mine,
yeah.
and happened to be the lawyer I know, and he had this house over there, Bishop Arts area, right? But it was
Gentrified Oak Cliff.
there you go. But it was designed by a dude, and you could tell it was designed by a dude. Just someone he threw some stuff together. Here we go,
Yeah,
and it would get like weekends booked maybe.
yeah,
It wasn't nothing in the midweek. It was just, and he wasn't making no money off of it and this and that. And he asked if we could help manage it and bring it back. And I was like, yeah, we'll take it over, but I need to get it needs to get refreshed, man.
yeah,
It needs to get some design in there. It needs to get some better photos because it was iPhone photos or whatever. And
yeah,
so he was reluctant because I mean, if you're losing money on something, it's hard to spend money, right? Because you're losing
yeah,
money. But I was like, dude, just spend a couple G's. It'll
yeah.
make a big difference. Anyways, they went in there, they refreshed it, and it didn't cost a bunch. Like I said, a couple G's. They had to buy everything and put it all together, and took beautiful photos. At all, all the same for the same price, and it stays booked. It stays crazy booked, man. People
Yeah.
love this place, man, because the location is wonderful. The house is
Yeah.
nice. It just had bad design and bad photos.
Especially in the DFW, bro. Yeah, if you can get if you have good design here, you're winning all day.
Yeah,
Straight up.
but Bishop Arts especially is like the hot zone, man. People want to go there,
For real.
and so he's just staying booked, and it's like. So whenever I had them refresh a couple of mine, I was like, oh, they did a pretty good job, and then made the bookings come up, and then so they did Lupita's first Airbnb, like a whole cowboy theme, and it looks really nice, and they did the photos, the twilight photos. It has a view of downtown Fort Worth, so it's really cool, man, and it's
Yeah.
book it's booked up right now, so she's excited. She got her
Mhm.
first Airbnb,
What's
so
up?
she's got the bug. And so I'm happy to bring her in the fold, because
Yeah.
she's stay-at-home mom with the kids and all, and that's all great. But she wanted like her own thing also.
Yeah, man. We gotta get y'all on the podcast, because it's all gonna be about
Oh, we should do the
entrepreneurship.
wives again. That'd
Yeah,
be cool. The wives podcast.
that too. But I want to get y'all on the Entrepreneurriage podcast because we're gonna
Oh,
be
there we
interviewing
go.
a bunch of like entrepreneur, married people, and it's gonna be dope. So yeah, we definitely got to get y'all on.
That's cool, man. Yeah. How many
Yeah, I
episodes y'all done?
think 3 or 4. We ain't released it. We're releasing it on. Matter of fact, we're releasing it on our anniversary, our marriage anniversary, because we got married the same day, February
Oh,
7th.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, we're gonna release it February 7th. Yeah.
Cool. What are y'all doing for the anniversary?
The, just that releasing it. We were gonna do something big. We're like, nah, let's just release the podcast, and we'll do that. You know, hang with the kids and all that, and do how a podcast release. If my parents are in town, we might do something. We'll think of it. We'll see.
I'll tell you a really nice place. If you're looking for a high-end place to take your wife,
Okay.
it's called Don Don Artemio's in Fort Worth,
On our Timios.
like 7th Street area. Don Artemio's, Artimeo. And this the the only reason we went there, I don't really go to hoity-toity places and stuff like that. I might go to Roadhouse, but
We straight hole in the walls, baby. That's what the food is, bro.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But my agent, shout out to Lucy. We bought a few houses through her already, so
Mhm.
she's a great agent. So she sent us this gift card, $300 gift card to that place, right? And we needed every bit of that 300, but it's one of those spots, right? And it's like what I had this Wagyu, whatever Wagyu, Texas Wagyu, that. So the Japanese Wagyu cows, everybody knows what those are. Those are really expensive cuts of meat, right? It's
Yeah.
really marbleized and delicious. So I had that, and then Lupita had the salmon, and we had this other stuff. We had some other appetizers, and yeah, we spent every bit of that and then some. It was one of those restaurants.
Yeah. Me. Go ahead. Me and Mahogany had the same experience. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, but it was cool. It was like, okay, I said, okay, this isn't bad. To treat ourselves. We've accomplished a lot.
Yeah,
To treat ourselves every now and then with a place like this is pretty cool.
for sure.
And I will say this, I noticed something. Young, attractive, like 20-year-old chicks, they got a thing for old gray white dudes.
Oh, you already know it, bro. ain't ain't tricking if you got it, right? Man, ain't tricking if you got it. What area of Fort Worth did we go to? So speaking of gift cards, so my mentor, we did some work for my mentor, and he sent us this $150 gift card. He sent us this $150. He's like, hey man, you and your wife go out to this place called Rise Souffle. I had never heard of it. I had never ate souffle. It was, we went over there. We were in Fort Worth. Where the hell were we? We were in like this nice area of Fort Worth where all the Coach stores was and all that.
Oh,
so
wow.
we pull up. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be kind of bougie. I'm like, but we'll do it. We'll do it. So we went in there and like, man, we needed that whole 150. I'll say that. Like, we got
appetizers.
Appetizers and dessert. Boy, that 150 was gone. That 150 turned to 160 real quick. So yeah, it was cool though. We went over there. It was all right food, and it was cool. We really enjoyed ourselves, man. So yeah, I know what you mean. Step outside, go somewhere else, see something different.
It was cool. It was cool, but it was definitely,
Yeah.
that demographic was there. It was the ones with the money, and that's cool. I want to be in that.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, another place like we usually do, like we did this last year for our anniversary. We went up to we got a room at Frisco Hyatt Regency. Got a room up there, and then we went to World Springs for a day. Man, that was so fun, bro. I might do that this year. Like, have you been to World Springs yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you gotta go to
What's
World
that?
Springs, bro. It's like they got like 100-something pools in there. Like it's like, I don't know, 100, it might be like 50 pools in there, but they're like all these pools with different minerals in them. You can cold plunge. They got cold plunging pools. Then they got all these hot tubs, and then they come around. And they serve you wine, Moscato, drinks, and you can, it's nice. Just look it up, World Springs. It was pretty cool. We went all out last year. We had they got these deep tissue massages, and then we went to the pools. It was dope, bro.
World Springs.
Yeah, World Springs. But people fly all over to come to this place. Like we were meeting people there from like, oh yeah, I flew in from DC. Oh yeah, I flew in from Cali. I'm like, to come here? And they're like, yeah, like, cause people love it. So like a lot of people fly in from out of town. So it was real cool.
That is neat, man. No, it's cool to treat yourself every now and then.
Got to.
I mean, you got to, right?
Yeah, smell the rose. You got to, as Mahogany says, you got to stop and smell the roses.
I will say that one cut of meat was just for the meat, and it came with like a little foliage, little side salad looking stuff. It
About
was
that
it was
big.
it was $92 for that cut of meat. That was, and that was the Texas Wagyu. It had actually had a price on it, right? There was the
Damn.
Japanese Wagyu, and it just said market price. It didn't give you a price. I was like,
Oh yeah, you already
"Bleh."
know.
How much is that gonna be, man? $500 for a cut of meat?
$300 plate real quick, boy. That's
Woo.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
but some people can do that, and
Straight
just
up.
not even blink.
Straight up. We all gonna get there, bro. That's what we hustling for. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
sir.
it's cool. It's cool. We had a good time though. We had
For
a
sure. That's all that
memorable
matters.
experience. Yeah.
That's all that matters, bro. Memorable experience.
So yeah, man, that's a fun show.
Yeah.
Episode whatever the hell this episode is. Real quick, I was looking at a seller finance house. Like I said, my 10 houses.
Oh,
I
okay.
might be closing on that as early as this week on a seller finance house. I'm looking pretty much just for seller finance, owner finance houses.
Good
I'm
idea.
tired
You
of
find your niche.
tired of dealing with banks. Tired of
Yeah.
dealing with DS. I mean, DSCR is okay, but you're still paying 20% down and all that stuff. So I'm
Oof.
trying to put as little down as possible, and then that I have my tools to work with. I can make it a pad split. I can make it a short-term rental. I can make it a corporate. You know what I'm saying? Anything but long-term. I hate long-term rentals.
Yeah.
I'm at that state. I know you're trying to you want long-term
Yeah.
rentals. I
Yeah.
hate long-term rentals because of
Yeah.
the eviction stuff.
Yeah. I feel you.
But that's just me.
Yeah. I'm going through a property management company, but I'm doing long term. I'm still doing short term because I'm using that loophole as much as I can so I can keep on buying.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, it's a lot. But another thing, because you were talking about your houses, you heard Trump stopping the big corps from buying houses.
You're gonna try.
I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try.
Well, the Trump administration is trying.
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting how that goes. We'll see. Keep your eye on that.
He's trying that. He's trying to cap credit cards at 10%. What else? Uh, 50-year mortgages. He's trying to do a
That's
bunch of different
interesting.
things.
We'll see how that
Yeah.
goes. But yeah, man. We'll see how that goes, man. But yeah, man. Episode what? I don't know what episode it is, but
I said
know.
It's anywhere between 338 and 340. We'll have it on the thing wherever you pull it up. It's
For sure.
it's the next episode. I was rocking Too Short today. That's another thing. On the way to the pad split, I'm gonna hear some Too Short.
Yes, sir.
Shout
on
out
the
to shout.
on the last album. Getting it.
Shout out to Betty.
Let's go.
Well, where can people find us, Myka, man?
Man, find us on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Email us, liveletthrive@gmail.com. And yeah, thank y'all for continuing to listen to us. And if y'all, yes, email us. Remember to like and subscribe on the video, man. And we love bringing y'all this content every week. And we are.
Oh, well, let's do some. We're gonna have a lot more guests coming this year too. Let's start. Let's make that our.
Yes, sir.
Our
We got to
thing.
make that happen. We got to get some guests on for sure. Yeah, we definitely got to do that.
All right, my brother.
All right.
Talk to you
Out.
later. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Live, Let, Thrive. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest in the world of Airbnb and all that entails. Bye-bye.